Gypsy Rose Blanchard, the innocent girl who ended up being a heartless criminal to escape from her life of pretense. Remember back in the school days when we used to play sick just for the sake of a day off from school? Most of the time, our mothers were quick to catch us fooling everyone with the pretense of illness, because their motherly instincts knew that there was nothing wrong. You will also agree with me that our moms were quite strict when it came to going to school daily, and they rarely made us miss school for a rare cause. It's because they knew that the outside society was equally important in our personality development as the moral upbringing at home. But not all parents think the same way. Some mothers can really get overprotective and obsessed with their children, probably because of their past insecurities, and excess of everything results in devastation. Today's case has remained in the news for the past few years because of one such insecurity, where the overprotection and obsession of the mother separated her from her daughter. Welcome to AF Crime, the channel that brings you fascinating crimes all around the world. If you're interested in this kind of content, then this channel is for you. Make sure to like this video, click on the subscribe button, and turn on the notification bell to keep you updated on our recent uploads. Now, let's get right into the video and investigate more about this bizarre incident, which initially looked like a simple murder case, but revealed some horrifying details as the investigations progressed forward. If you are a wandering soul and have ever gotten a chance to explore Springfield in Missouri, you must have seen a cute pink house as you move forward to the West Volunteer Way. Upon a single glance, you won't find anything peculiar about the house except the fact that it seems like a house straight out of children's movies. This is why many people get attracted to the pink color and the expansive front yard of the house. If you look at the house, you won't even suspect what its backstory is and what kind of horrible history was written on its walls. Today, the neighborhood has left this house just the way it was, and people rarely find interest in it. But once it was the center of attention of many. In the past, this house hosted many charity galas, photo shoots, and volunteer meetings. It was way more than an average house because it belonged to the terminally ill girl, Gypsy Rose Blanchard, who had leukemia, muscular dystrophy, asthma, and brain damage from her mother, Dee Dee Blanchard. The mother-daughter duo was known as the ideal duo because it seemed to the people that Dee Dee had keenly dedicated her life to the well-being of her daughter, Gypsy Rose. One of the many reasons that the neighborhood never raised a voice if multiple people visited their house every day, because they knew it was for the sick Gypsy Rose and everyone wanted to be a part of something good. It continued like this until the summer of 2015. It was a fine morning on the 14th of June when the people in the neighborhood knocked at the door of the Blanchards because it had been more than a week since they had seen any of them. Many of them had already tried to contact Dee Dee, but they failed to get any response, which was a bit worrisome. Some got attentive to ask about the well-being of the Blanchards after reading a post from Gypsy Rose's account which said, "The bitch is finally dead." This caught the attention of some close friends, and they deduced that things were not going well in the Blanchards' house. The strangest fact was that the house hadn't even received any guests in the meantime. Some neighbors believed that both mother and daughter had gone to some charity event, for it was a usual habit of Dee Dee. But they were shocked when they found that Dee Dee's vehicle was still in the parking lot. Even after knocking at the door continuously, there was no response, which made the neighbors sure that something horrible had happened. So without waiting for any further clue, they directly called 911. When the police arrived, they had to wait for an official search warrant. However, they didn't want to delay any further, so a number entered the house through the window and allowed them to enter. Upon entrance, they met with some unpleasant smells, and much of the house seemed in its normal state, but there were so many boxes spread in every direction. As the police crossed the threshold of Dee Dee's room, they were shocked to the core because there she was lying in a state of sheer lifelessness. Her bed was pooled in blood and even the covers were bloated red. Much of the blood seemed old, and according to the initial investigation, it seemed that the further had taken place days ago. The neighbors started getting worried to death about the life of Gypsy Rose since she was nowhere to be found. Her wheelchair, oxygen tube, and liquid diet, including several essential meds, were there in her room intact. Obviously, anyone would get scared in that kind of situation, where the mother was brutally killed and the daughter is missing and terribly ill. The only concern at the moment was to find out about Gypsy Rose. because everyone knew that in her condition, she couldn't survive long without these basic needs. Sheriff Jim Arnott was leading the investigation, and he knew that there might be some reason behind the sudden disappearance of Gypsy Rose. He was highly aware of the cryptic post from Gypsy's Facebook, so he raised his concerns that there might be other reasons involved behind the murder. Other than Arnott, there was another person who knew a dark secret, and when she revealed that, the reality left the people entirely surprised and speechless. This second person was Ali Woodmans, a 24-year-old neighbor of the Blanchards. She had frequently talked to Gypsy. She revealed to the police that Gypsy had an ongoing online relationship with a guy named Nicholas Goodjohn. She revealed some prints of the exchanges between Nicholas and Gypsy, which they had shared with each other, and Gypsy had then shown them to Woodman. She told how Gypsy was over the moon after finding Nicholas and wanted to live a normal life with him like everyone else. Sheriff Arnott thought that somehow Goodjohn was linked with the murder and the disappearance of Gypsy, so they used Ali's printouts for tracking the alleged boyfriend. Using the IP address of Nicholas's account, the authorities tracked Goodjohn, who was present in Wisconsin's Waukesha County. Through a planned raid of the police forces, Big Bend House was raided and found, which Goodjohn's Facebook was operating. They successfully found both Goodjohn and Gypsy Rose over there. Upon investigations, both of them confessed to the crime, and it was revealed that Gypsy had planned the murder of Dee Dee along with her boyfriend Goodjohn, who later stabbed Dee Dee 17 times with a knife, and then both of them ran away to start a new life. After their police confession, they were arrested and judicial trials started following deeper investigations behind the motive. Though a lot was revealed right when Gypsy was arrested, but the most shocking detail was seeing Gypsy herself. According to the initial reports of the police, when they arrested Gypsy, she was completely fine and walking like a normal person. This was indeed big news to all the friends and family members, including Gypsy's separated father, Rod Blanchard. After all, they were seeing a terminally ill girl walk normally, who had previously spent her entire life in her wheelchair. It was unbelievable at first for many, but later on, when Gypsy appeared in the court for her trial, people literally gasped in disbelief to find her perfectly healthy and talking like a normal person. The case was getting more and more twisted for everyone because they simply couldn't believe in the miracle before their eyes. Soon, all these suspicions and murmurs about Gypsy's life came to an end when Gypsy revealed some heart-wrenching details to the police. The first-hand details revealed that Gypsy was physically and emotionally abused by her mother Dee Dee for almost all her life. She said that she knew that she could walk perfectly like a normal person, but wasn't allowed by Dee Dee to walk. She was also able to eat without the aid of a feeding tube. She depended on the tube because her mother forced her to. Dee Dee had further told Gypsy that she had cancer. Therefore, she was shaving all her hair every once in a while because she didn't want Gypsy to feel bad after losing her hair as a result of chemotherapy. She revealed that Dee Dee's behavior with her was very abusive. She kept her locked in her room for most of the day and was not allowed to meet anybody. That's why she tried to find an escape through the world of the internet, and there she found Nicholas, who was about her age. Both of them talked a few times and she started developing feelings towards him, and they started an online relationship, according to her. When Dee Dee found out about that, she smashed her laptop and leashed her badly by handcuffing her. In light of her statements, her medical tests were once again done in police custody, and it confirmed that Dee Dee was perfectly healthy and there were no such ailments present in her as described by her mother. The medical board declared that Dee Dee Blanchard was suffering from Munchausen syndrome by proxy. It was a consequence of her syndrome that she started treating Gypsy as a terminally ill child. Later developments in the investigation revealed shocking facts. Dee Dee had left for Missouri with her daughter right after her birthplace, Louisiana, was hit by Hurricane Katrina. She further told the authorities that because of the devastation carried out by Katrina, Gypsy's original birth certificate was lost. However, during the trials, it was found that Gypsy was born in the year 1991, not 1995, as told by her mother. After these details were revealed, the masses jumped up to support Gypsy. This became indeed an interesting case, and even the trials reflected that. Unlike other cases, The county prosecutor, Dan Peterson, believed that Gypsy and Good John both were forced to commit the crime, so he won't be prosecuting the case of Dee Dee. Well, you cannot doubt Peter because the case itself was developing into events that were difficult to digest. Later on, the court verdict came and Gypsy was sentenced to 10 years in jail. Her boyfriend Good John's sentence was more of a severe nature and life imprisonment was written in his fate. After some months of imprisonment, Gypsy once again appeared before the media, and this time she looked much better than her appearance at trials. Gypsy had gained almost 14 pounds during the time in jail. This depicts how malnourished Dee Dee had kept her during her time of taking her illness. Dee Dee also had an extensive interview with BuzzFeed, where she said, "I now feel freer in jail than I was ever in my entire life." This strange case of imprisonment carries different opinions now. Some people believe that what she did was an act of self-defense and she was innocent from the beginning. Others believe that Gypsy and her boyfriend could have taken an alternative path. They could have taken the police's help to set her free. Yet, if we believe Gypsy's own words, then though she admits that what she did was wrong, but she did also believe that she had no other way out to escape that hellhole. It seems that the jail time is doing good to Gypsy because recently, the summer of 2022, Gypsy married Ryan Scott Anderson, and it is believed that she found him through the jail's pen pal program. Interestingly, a huge community believes that Gypsy isn't the only kid who has become victim of Munchausen syndrome by proxy, but there will be many all across the world. Even Gypsy Rose herself said that she has somehow turned up to be the voice of such children who are victimized by the parents' brutality. Well, this case is one of its kind, where it's hard to judge the criminal based on her circumstances. And a lot of series were developed on the story of Gypsy. In 2019, the miniseries The Act was one of those multiple series based on the life of Gypsy, which became the apple of the viewer's eye. The miniseries was a work of art from the platform of Hulu, and it made Joey King an Emmy-nominated actor for her brilliance. Many books have also been written on the case, but one thing still remains unanswered. What is Gypsy Rose's true fault? Was it her committing the heinous act of murder, or was it trusting her mother more than her life? Is Gypsy Rose a criminal or a victim who was disappointed by the system and even her biological relationships? I will let you decide for yourself. If you feel that this case was an intriguing one, like this video and share it with all your friends. Also, subscribe to our AF Crime channel for finding more shocking tales around the world. And if you have any criminal case that you would like me to investigate, share it in the comments section below.